All right, good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. Welcome in. We're going to be doing a lightning round this morning. very quick overview here. My sticky note out over here. Hello, hello. Hello, hi, welcome. Make sure I get it. Hello, I'm doing okay, Dolores. Hello, Duchess. Here we go. Let me get my marker out here. I'm flying here pretty quick, so bear with me when it comes to what we're going through here. But this is, oh my goodness gracious, everyone. This was on, I think, just yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before. I gotta get the right marker here. No panicking, Lynn. We're all right. We're all right. Jelly Kelly, hello. Hello. Excuse me. European friendly. Yeah, I know. Yikes. Good morning, Kaya. All right, so I got to dive right in here, everyone. I don't have much time, but this was just so important. I was like, well, let's turn the camera on and get her going here. So what we have is, excuse me again, I am still recovering from being sick, so I do have a bit of a cough, and my voice hasn't quite healed up yet, but we'll be all right. Here we go, academic, excellent. So this letter, this compact was sent out by the administration to what we know of as 9 universities at this point. There may have been more, but this is, I'm pulling this from news article, all right? So I haven't been able to fact check every single thing regarding each of these universities. So I'm going to say these are the universities, but this is where I've got it. I've gotten it from the news as opposed to each individual university. I've not gone to each one and checked. Good morning. I did. Oh, VC. Oh my gosh, VC. Look what I got. I have it right here. Look at that. Look at that. I've got the shaman's complaint. And I tell you what, it is just one paragraph. We'll work on that. Very interesting. Yes. All right. So back to it here. So the administration then has sent this compact out, and it has to do with colleges, right? And they're saying, if you do what we want you to do, then you will have access to funding. You'll have access to resources through the federal government. But if you don't, then we're going to cancel loans, or we're not going to give you any kind of benefit from the federal government. That's not legal. That is a quid pro quo. That is what was being investigated as the first impeachment for the administration the first time. You cannot tell people comply with this or everything is gone. And then, or if you do, then you'll be on a special list. That's not appropriate at all. So, so I thought, let's take a look at this compact that they put together, that he's put together, so that you know what's going on when you hear it on the interwebs and such. So they're saying, if signed, then federal benefits. If not, no federal money. All right, so no, whoopsies, we'll be all right. No, if not, then no money. No moolah. All right, so here we go. Again, I don't have too much time, so we're going to kind of go through this quick, but so you can get the basic idea. It's a very disturbing, upsetting situation. And just for reference, these are the universities. So this was sent out to University of Arizona, Brown University, Dartmouth College, Massachusetts Institute of Tech, University of Pennsylvania, University of Southern California, and the governor has come out and said in California that if any university signs the compact, he will withhold state funds. So that's happening now. University of Texas, and I'm not going to say if I'm for or against that, I'm just telling you what's happening. Vanderbilt University and University of Virginia. So these have all received this letter, this compact situation here. Oh, did they purge it? I'm not sure, Chris, at this point. Hello, Stephanie. I'm not going to be surprised if for any kind of purging that goes on with this administration, because we're in crazy town. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get us started here, everybody. Again, I don't have too much time, but just enough here. I wanted to go through this before the news cycle gets caught up in it, and you don't know what's going on. So. Or more importantly, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what the heck's going on with this? All right, here we go. We've got introduction. American higher education is the envy of the world and represents a key strategic benefit for our nation. In turn, the U.S. university system benefits in a variety of ways from its extraordinary relationship with the U.S. government. These include 1, access to student loans, grant programs, federal contracts. 2, funding for research directly or indirectly. 3, approval of student and other visas in connection with university matriculation and instruction. And 4, preferential treatment under the tax code, like the churches, to advance the national interest arising out of this unique relationship. This compact for educational excellence in higher education represents the priorities of the U.S. government in its engagements with universities that benefit from the relationship. Institutions of higher education are free to develop models and values other than those below if the institution elects to forego federal benefits. So here's the threat. All right, here's the threat. So when Mr. Orange said, you can all feel free to leave the room, but then we'll take your benefits and your rank away from you to the generals. So we're in that area again with our universities. So again, it's like you need to comply with what we want, or you will get no federal benefits at all. I know. It's rough. All right, so here we go. Let's dive in. Number 1, and this is very similar actually to the Harvard letter, for those of you that have been with me through that part. So number 1, equality in admissions. Discriminatory admissions processes reflect a fundamental misunderstanding, not only of civil rights law and the U.S. Constitution, but out of the damaging impacts such practices have on individuals and our nation as a whole. Treating certain groups as categorically incapable of performing and therefore in need of preferential treatment perpetuates a dangerous badge of inferiority, destroys confidence, and does nothing to identify or solve the most pressing challenges for aspiring young people. Therefore, no factors such as SEX, ethnicity, race, nationality, political views, SEX orientation, gender identity, religion, religious association, or proxies for any of those factors shall be considered explicitly or implicitly in any decision related to the undergraduate or graduate student admissions for financial support, with due exceptions for institutions that are solely or primarily comprised of students of a specific SEX or religious denomination. And again, that's unconstitutional. What the law says, what the rule is for one, is the rule for all. So there should not be this as well. And that's where we got into several of our lawsuits that have established equal protection for women have been men being discriminated against. All right. So like men were being told you had to be 21 to drink. Women only had to be 18. And here we're talking about, well, if it's a specific college, but for women versus men. So again, not constitutional. Good morning. University admissions decisions shall be based upon and evaluated against objective criteria published on the university's website and available to all prospective applicants and members of the public. Institutions shall have all undergraduate applicants take a widely used standardized test, the SAT, ACT, or CLT, or program-specific measures of accomplishment in the case of music, art, and other specialized programs of study. Universities shall publicly report anonymized data for admitted and rejected students, including GPA, standardized test score, and other program-specific measures of accomplishments by race, national origin, and SEX. Number 2, marketplace of ideas in civil discourse. Truth-seeking is a core function of the institutions of higher education. Fulfilling this mission requires maintaining a vibrant marketplace of ideas where different views can be explored, debated, and challenged. Therefore, signatories in this compact commit themselves to fostering a vibrant marketplace of ideas on campus. A vibrant marketplace of ideas requires an intellectually open campus environment with a broad spectrum of ideological viewpoints present and no single ideology dominant, both along political and other relevant lines. Signatories commit themselves to revising governance structures as necessary to create such an environment, including but not limited to transforming or abolishing institutional units that purposefully punish, belittle, or even spark violence against conservative ideas. Given the importance of academic freedom to the marketplace of ideas, signatories shall adopt a policy protecting academic freedom in classrooms, teaching, research, and scholarship. Such policies also shall recognize that academic freedom is not absolute, and universities shall adopt policies that prevent discriminatory, threatening, harassing, or other behaviors that abridge the rights of other members of the university community. I know it's pretty awful. Signatories commit to rigorous, good faith, empirical assessment of a broad spectrum of viewpoints among faculty, students, and staff at all levels, and to sharing the results of such assessments with the public, and to seek such a broad spectrum of viewpoints, not just in the university as a whole, but within every field, department, school, and teaching unit. Again, you can see this is just the same as the letter sent to Harvard, right? And Harvard has sued, saying that you don't have that kind of control over us. Signatories acknowledge that the freedom to debate requires conditions of civility. Civility includes protections against institutional punishment or individual harassment for one's views. Universities shall neither support nor permit a heckler's veto, though. For example, disruption, violence, intimidation, or vandalism. Universities shall be responsible for ensuring that they do not knowingly, 1, permit actions by the university employees or university students or individuals external to the university community to delay or disrupt class instruction or disrupt libraries or other traditional study locations. Apparently, the person that wrote this has never been to college. Number 2, allow demonstrators to heckle or accost individual students or groups of students. Or 3, allow obstruction of access to parts of campus based on a student's race, ethnicity, nationality, or religion. What the H is that? Okay, footnote number 1 down here. As one federal judge recently noted, in disbelief, all right, are we ready for the disbelief? In the year 2024, in the United States of America, in the state of California, in the city of Los Angeles, Jewish students were excluded from portions of the UCLA campus because they refused to denounce their faith. This fact is so unimaginable and so abhorrent to our constitutional guarantee of religious freedom that it bears repeating. Jewish students were excluded from portions of the UCLA campus because they refused to denounce their faith. UCLA does not dispute this. Instead, UCLA claims that it has no responsibility to protect the religious freedom of its Jewish students because the exclusion was engineered by third-party protesters. But under constitutional principles, UCLA may not allow services to some students when UCLA knows that other students are excluded on religious grounds, regardless of who engineered the exclusion. And this is a case here, and I'm not sure that's actually how that went down, but that's all right. Here we go. This might be a case I may pull and go through because this that's not so good here. All right, signatories commit to using lawful force if necessary to prevent these violations and to swift, serious, and consistent sanctions for those who commit them. While universities should protect debate and academic freedom, harassment falls outside permissible bounds. Signatories shall adopt policies prohibiting incitement to violence, including calls for unalive or another kind of unalive that's awful, or support for entities designated by the U.S. government as T organizations. All signatories shall adopt policies consistent with all legal requirements, including those of the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, which I'm not sure still exists or not. The university shall impartially and vigorously enforce all rights and restrictions it adopts with respect to free speech and expression. Number 3, non-discrimination in faculty and administrative hiring. Again, this is just almost verbatim what they were telling Harvard they needed to do. Okay, so EGADS, a steadfast commitment to rigorous and meritocratic selection. Oh, it's early, everyone. Based on objective and measurable criteria in the appointment process is pivotal for the university's sustained excellence, consistent with the requirements of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act and other federal employment discrimination statutes. No factors such as sex, ethnicity, race, national origin, disability, or religion shall be considered in any decision related to the appointment, advancement, or reappointment of academic, administrative, or support staff at any level, except as described in Section 9 or otherwise provided by Title VII or other federal employment discrimination statutes. Egads. This is awful. Let me take a sip here. Eek. All right, institutional neutrality. Signatories shall maintain institutional neutrality at all levels of their administration. This requires policies that all university employees in their capacity as university representatives will abstain from actions or speech relating to social or political events, except in cases in which external events have a direct impact upon the university. All right, this is flipping crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I gotta slow down for a minute, because this is just absolutely horrific. This may be one of the worst things that I've seen, actually, from this administration. I'm going to just take a moment to digest this. Let's read through it again here. I'm going to read through it one more time here. This is pretty awful, everybody. Signatories shall maintain institutional neutrality at all levels of their administration. This requires policies that all university employees, in their capacity as university representatives, will abstain from actions or speech relating to societal or political events, except in cases in which external events have a direct impact upon the university. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, this is definitely one of the worst I've seen here. This is really, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's huge. All right, moving forward. We'll keep moving forward here, even though we've all got PTSD now. All right, so policies requiring institutional neutrality must apply with equal force to all of the university's academic units, including all colleges, faculties, schools, departments, program centers, and institutes. Here's a footnote number 2. All right, and it states, as the president of Dartmouth recently explained, consider a student interested in majoring in a certain subject. Upon going to the department's homepage to discover course offerings, the student slapped in the face with an official statement excoriating his own political ideology. How comfortable would that student feel taking a class in that department? Our principles of institutional restraint permit departments to issue public statements only on limited issues directly related to the academic experience. Rather than publishing these proclamations on their home pages, departments must create new web pages specifically dedicated to public statements and endorsements. This ensures that departments promote their academic missions, not their social or political beliefs. This is really bad. Yeah, this is horrific. I'm horrified by this, everyone. All university members, including students, faculty, and staff, are encouraged to comment on current events in their individual capacities, provided they do not purport to do so on behalf of the university or any of its subdivisions. Oh my gosh, good Lord. Good Lord, help us all, or whomever. All right, number 5, student learning. Signatories commit to a grade integrity and the use of defensible standards for whether students are achieving their goals, with each grade reflecting the quality, breadth, and depth of the student's achievement. Signatories acknowledge that a grade must not be inflated or deflated for any non-academic reason, but only rigorously reflect the demonstrated mastery of a subject that the grade purports to represent. Signatories will use public accountability mechanisms to demonstrate their commitment to grade integrity, such as publishing grade distribution dashboards with multi-year trend lines, public statements that explain student outcomes, and any unusual upward trends and comparisons with peer institutions. Yeah, it's getting worse. Number 6, student equality. Oh, geez. Students shall be treated as individuals and not on the basis of their immutable characteristics, with due exceptions for SES-based privacy, safety, and fairness. Women's equality requires single SEX spaces, such as bathrooms and locker rooms, and fair competition, such as in sports. Institutions commit to defining and otherwise interpreting male, female, woman, and man according to reproductive functions and biological processes. Otherwise, immutable characteristics, particularly race, do not permit unequal treatment, including in grading, as well as access to buildings, spaces, scholarships, programming, and other university resources. Student equality includes equality in discipline. Signatories shall maintain clear and consistent disciplinary standards that apply equally to all students, faculty, and staff. These standards should promote fairness, due process, and equal treatment, and should be administered in a manner consistent with institutional policies and applicable law. These standards shall never favor or disfavor any person because of his or her membership in a racial, ethnic, national, or religious group, or a group based on SEX or SEX orientation or gender identity. Financial responsibility. Too many young adults have become saddled with life-altering debt that has affected, among other things, their ability to have a family or purchase a home. Universities have a duty to control their costs, including by eliminating unnecessary administrative staff, reducing tuition burdens, engaging in transparent accounting and regular auditing for misuse of funds, and cutting unnecessary costs. Signatories acknowledge that universities that receive federal funds have a duty to reduce administrative costs as far as reasonably possible and streamline or eliminate academic programs that fail to serve students. Towards this end, signatories to this compact commit to freezing the effective tuition rates charged to American students for the next 5 years. 5-year tuition freeze for American students only. What? Further, universities poorly equip students when they fail to inform them about the likely life earnings for students' chosen majors, or admit students without the skills or support needed to succeed. The university shall publicly post statistics about average earnings from graduates in each academic program and shall refund tuition to students who drop out during the first academic term of their undergraduate studies. All right, what H? Signatories shall responsibly deploy their endowments to the public good. Any university with an endowment exceeding $2 million per undergraduate student will not charge tuition for admitted students pursuing hard science programs, with the exception as desired for families of substantial means. For families of substantial means, all right. Oh my goodness. Universities should also make efforts to expand professional opportunities for America's military service members and veterans. To that end, signatories shall commit to accepting full transfer credits from the joint service transcript of military service members and veterans enrolling in undergraduate and graduate programs, applying it to general education course requirements, and, where relevant, major-specific course requirements. All right. So let's pause for a minute here. All right, let's just pause for a minute. Who sets out the requirements for whether or not to give credit to schools where they leave and come into the new one. So transfer students, right? Who sets out which classes will be allowed and which ones won't be allowed for credit? Do we know? Do we know? Are we sure? Yeah, bankrupting. Oh my goodness. I know. Right. That's right, VC, the regions. So this is just a, I guess let me ask it in another way. I'm exactly right. Which university is a federal university? Let me ask you that. Which university is designated as a federal university? None. Right. None. Right. So the federal government here, yes, they do some funding through the Department of Education. But when it comes to our universities, all right, there is no federal university. I mean, we've got like our specialty places when we're training certain people to do certain jobs. All right, don't get me wrong. But the states are the ones that set out what the tuition's going to be. They set out who's going to be allowed in. They set out crunched numbers for what's going to be allowed and what's not going to be allowed for transfer students. This is all the state. All the state's business. And so for me, for this is just another example of where the federal government is trying to remove the state's power over something. All right. So already we've seen through the SAFE Act, I think that's what it's called, right? Or SAFE Act, the one where it says the voting and identification needs to be done a certain way. That bill, a lot of people were like, well, you know, maiden name versus married name and stuff. That's what they were asking about. The real red flag in that is the entire removal of states' power to make its own choices regarding elections. And so now we have another compact where they're saying the states are not to, do certain things. And state universities. Now, the other thing, too, to remember, again, and I will pause on this. I'm only going to be able to get halfway through at the moment. I'll have to come back and finish the rest of it. But so what's happening then is they're saying to these 9 universities, you either comply with this federal contract, essentially. You comply or you get no federal funding. But if you do comply, we're going to give you bonuses, too. And I think that's important to note. All right. Different costs for students that are state residents. Right. And that's being worked out through the courts quite a bit right now. So this, again, everyone, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to make it through the entire thing. I will pop on again later today to finish the second half of this. But as soon as I found it and saw that it's starting to hit the press, I wanted to get a little bit of it out there. You can look this up yourself. This, again, is the name of it. And I will be doing a part 2 of this compact and going in and talking about different questions and things. So this is, this is a state versus federal power issue. Oh, yes, there's more. And the kind of the bullying or restructuring of how the states operate. Now, one of the things to remember, too, to keep in mind is that the governor of California has said any university that signs this compact will not receive state funding. All right. And again, these are state universities and colleges and various others. These are not federal universities and colleges. So, all right, everyone, I will be back later on. Thank you for hanging out with me. Super, super quick today, but I will be back again later. I have to do kind of these little mini ones until my voice comes back into full power. So see you all later, everyone, and I will finish part 2 sometime today. So I wish you a very good day.